Alright, so I thought I'd make a video on how well I could see since I'm legally blind, and to most people when you say blind, they usually think completely blind, but that's not necessarily true. Being blind is a spectrum. Sometimes you can see shapes and colors like I can, and then sometimes it's less than that, to where it's about shadow and light and then just complete darkness. And I fall into the shapes and colors or legally blind category. And when I say legally blind, I mean I could see a fair amount, not to the point where I don't need aid. I still need certain equipment to navigate the world. What caused like a small recap to my eyes is, if you didn't watch my going blind part 1 and part 2, because they are lengthy videos, or somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes. So if you didn't watch those, a small recap, just a snippet of it, is I have uveitis and iritis. Uveitis in my left eye and iritis, and then iritis in my right eye. That stems from me having rheumatoid arthritis. It's a rare condition that can happen if you have rheumatoid arthritis, but that's extremely rare. I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm just one of those rare cases that it could happen to. And what happened was I ended up developing cataracts in the meantime while all the inflammation was happening. And when I had new lenses put into my eyes for the cataract surgery, my eyes just rejected the new lenses that were put in, so they had to be taken out. That's why my sight is so bad right now, is because I literally have no lenses in my eyes. So the lenses were removed from my eyes. And the amount that I could see is, a few examples are, I asked my doctor back in February how well I could see, just out of curiosity, because I had watched other videos of people who had certain eye disease, such as I think it's pronounced Stargardt's disease, and also retinitis pigmentosa, as Molly Burke has shared her story. So there's several different eye diseases that could cause loss of vision, and mine just happened to be uveitis and iritis. So I had asked my doctor back in February, out of curiosity and watching all these videos of other people explaining their vision loss, how well can I see? And he said, compared to a completely sighted person, you have 10% of your vision. And I thought I could see pretty damn well with my glasses and my contacts, so it was a little surprising to hear that I only have 10% of my vision compared to someone who is completely sighted. And to give another example, is I qualify for disability or disability benefits, but just barely. Because say there's a chart that goes from normal, and then there's a line, and then goes into legally blind, increased loss of vision. Where that line is between normal and legally blind, I am just below that line into legally blind. I barely qualify for disability services and like income tax and like these other benefits, but I still qualify nonetheless. And to put it in even more perspective, is I could see the giant E at the doctor's office in my right eye. I could see that giant E, even the second slide that comes up. I could see those two letters. But with my left eye, I could barely make out that E. It just looks like 3 lines. That's what it looks like for my left eye. So my right eye is my better eye. When I don't wear my glasses or my contacts, an even more visual way of people who are sighted to understand is if you had ever seen the commercial advertised towards people who are visually impaired. It shows this completely blurry screen and you hear noises and kind of this misshapen circle in the middle of the screen, and then they explain, when you are visually impaired, this is what you see, this is what you hear. And then it goes on to explain, like when it goes into focus, that to someone who's visually impaired or blind, it sounds like rain. That's what that sound sounds like, and that's exactly what it sounded like to me. It sounds like rain, but when it comes into focus, it shows that it's a frying pan and bacon being fried on the pan. So it was something being sizzled on a frying pan, and it was not rain, which is why video description is so important for someone who is legally blind or has even more loss of vision. That if I could find that commercial, I'll put it in the description box down below. There's also another commercial that's for impaired driving, and if you had ever seen that commercial, this is a Canadian commercial, so anyone out there who is like in a different part of the country might never have seen this commercial, but it shows you when you're driving how unfocused your eyes can be as you drink. My vision is like on that 4th or 5th glass that's there. If I could find that commercial too, I will link it in the description box down below. So you'll have more of an understanding. Well, I guess a visual understanding if I don't wear my glasses or my contacts. That being said, these are my glasses. They are very thick because, well, I have no lenses in my eyes, so they have to be really thick. They are extremely thick. They are very heavy, and when I do wear them, it feels like someone is pinching my nose to stop me from breathing through my nose. That's what it always feels like when I wear these. I guess I'll show you how they look when I do wear them. This is what they look like on. I only ever wear my glasses when I'm at home, and sometimes I'll wear them at the store if I'm having a lazy day and I just don't feel like putting in my contacts. I also have this little stretchy string for my glasses because my glasses are so heavy and they fall off my face all the time. So if I don't have this little old lady little glasses kind of thing, I put it this little bit here that's attached to the string here onto the back of my glasses, and then attach the other one. Over time, this band becomes stretched out, so there is a little loop here to tighten the band up. I have another one as a spare because sometimes the rubber part that attaches to the ear part of where it hooks around your ear, where your frames hook around your ear, sometimes that little plastic part stretches out or breaks over time. So I have another backup of that. And another visual aid that I have. So another visual aid that I have is this magnifying glass. I went to CNIB. Again, I live in Canada. Let's see if I can remember this correctly. CNIB stands for Canadian Canadian in damn. I can't remember what CNIB stands for. I'm so sorry. I just remember the abbreviation. It's been a long time since something like Canadian Institute it's for the blind. If any other Canadian out there who is visually impaired knows what CNIB is, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But they have a lot of resources and help there. And when I went there and I was referred to them by my doctor, they had fit me for this magnifying glass. The strength is, they called it 5 times stronger than I guess a regular magnifying glass. I'm not entirely sure, but this magnifying glass is super light. It has this small circle. The diameter is probably about 2 inches all around, and it has this little part here. It takes AAA batteries, 2 AAA batteries, because between the handle and the magnifying glass there's this tiny light that I could switch on, and I usually use it as a flashlight, honestly. And if it's dim in the room and I have to read like a document, then I usually turn it on and use the magnifying part to read, because even though I have contacts and my glasses, my vision is still not good. My eyes are still not good enough for me to be taken out of the legally blind category, even with glasses and contacts. So I was given this, and before I show you my other visual aid, I can't wear my contacts anymore. If you had watched my other videos, I'd complained multiple times of my contacts bothering me since my surgery back in August, September, around there. And I had seen my ophthalmologist, the one who prescribed my really thick glasses. I went to go see him because I need new prescription glasses and to check my contacts, because I thought maybe my contacts are damaged, or I'm not putting them in right, or they're collecting buildup. I don't know. But when I went to go see him and I put them in, not even 5 minutes passed before both eyes turned bloodshot. My right eye was worse than my left, and he was really, a little taken back and a little shocked. And he was telling me to look up and down, left and right, just to see the fit. And he told me that they might be a little small because my eyes have gotten better over time with treatment and keeping up with my regular appointments. My eyes have gotten better over time, and they might be a little small. Even then, he said that he was not sure. I don't think he ever seen that happened before. So he told me that we could order another pair of contacts, but he wasn't sure if my insurance would cover it the second time. Because we got lucky the first time they covered it. Because my insurance doesn't want to cover anything. Like nothing, like not a damn thing. So when they covered it the first time, he fought really hard for me, and it was actually covered. And the reason why this is really upsetting for me is because the chances of it being covered the second time is extremely slim, and I'm sure they're going to say no, because those contacts were supposed to be good for the next 10 years. That's how hard contacts work. They're really expensive, but they're supposed to last you for 10 years. Instead of buying disposable contacts like the soft ones. If it's not covered the next when he tries, it's going to cost me $750 for one pair. Just one pair of contacts, hard contacts. And that's so expensive considering I'm on a fixed income. And if my insurance doesn't cover it again the second time, that's going to be so much money. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to afford it. Even then, if it's approved or some way I can afford it, there's no guarantee that my eyes won't react the same way to the new contacts, like turning bloodshot and extremely irritated. There's no certainty that it will not happen. So when they get back to me, if they did or did not approve the new contacts, so as I was saying, as my alarm decided to be so rude and go off and cut off my video, there's no guarantee that the irritation and bloodshot eyes won't happen again, even if I get the contacts the second time. But it's okay, because my main primary eye doctor had told me that in the next year sometime, I would be able to have a lens put in my eye, probably my right eye, as my left eye is like struggling. But I asked him if he would do it this year, but he said that he wants my eyes to prove they could remain stable for a long period of time before going in there and putting in another lens. That whole will it help you or hurt you kind of thing. So that's why he wants my eyes to prove to him that they can remain stable. And I believe the next time it's put in that my body won't reject it, because I'm still on the medication for mycophenolate. Mycophenolate is primarily an organ transplant. So I'm basically having a lens, which technically is a transplant, put into my eye. So my body, the next time it's put in, shouldn't reject it for the transplant medication. So hopefully that goes well. I could bear wearing my little thick glasses for the next year if it means I could have a contact or have a lens put into my eye. I didn't know this, but my doctor told me that there's 4 different ways that you could put a lens into someone's eye. And I thought it was only that one way where you just like cut the surface of the eye, fold it back, and then pop it in and like sew it up. But no, there's 4 different ways that you could do it, and I don't know, that just amazed me. So that's what's going on with my contacts. I'm not wearing my contacts right now, which is why my eyes are not bloodshot. I in a way I do want the new contacts, even though there's no guarantee that that won't happen again. Just for vain reasons, vain purposes. So my final visual aid that I have is a cane. I'm pretty sure other YouTubers have shown you this, and I'm pretty sure Molly Burke has shown you this too. But I also have a cane. No, not a cane to help you walk around, but like a visual aid kind of cane. It folds up like this. You have to pull it apart and then fold it. Pull and fold. And it has this little metal reflector, this red metal reflector at the bottom close to where that rolling ball is, because it's to help other people see you, basically, because it is reflective. I don't like folding this up all the way because if you know me, I'm a germaphobe, or pretty close to being a germaphobe. When you fold it all the way up, this little ball touches the handle, and there's just something so disgusting about that, because that ball is rolling around in whatever it touches when you're outside, and then it touches the handle and you're holding that all the time. And well, you have to eat eventually and these other stuff too, so it's just, whenever I use this and I'm in the car, I don't fold it up all the way. I'll fold it up until this point, or maybe just fold it once here, and then leave it, when I'm in the passenger seat, leave it on my side next to the door, so when I open the door I could just pop it out and then put this up. Because again, I'm pretty close to being a germaphobe. So that's my last visual aid. And when I use I forgot to mention, when I use my my magnifying glass, I also use it at the computer while I wear either my glasses or when I wore my contacts, because even though I could see a lot more detail, I can barely read some of the font on certain websites. And even if you zoom on the font on certain websites, it messes up the format. Like if you scroll in and make it zoom in, it messes up the format, and then you have this giant bar at the bottom of the screen and this giant bar at the side. So it's just easier for me to use my magnifying glass while I'm at the computer or reading something. And even with those visual aids, I still can't see small details. The reason why it's also the reason why I have my cane. I have no depth perception, and I can't see fine details. When I say no depth perception, it's like I'm living in a cartoon. I'm not kidding. I can't see if like there's a last step on stairs, which really did cause me to fall more than a few times. Missing that last one or two steps at the bottom of the stairs, and not being able to see the curb, and not being able to see fine details such as like maybe there's a cement block protruding from the ground that holds like a sign and I can't see the edge of that cement block. Things like that. So that's why I need my cane. And well, it explains further of how well I could see. So when I say 2D, I'm not kidding. Like 2D, it's like looking at a flat surface, a flat cartoon surface that's more realistic. And reading is fine on the computer, but it's more difficult in person because I can't see anything smaller than an 18-point font. If someone sends me a letter in the mail and it's a 12-point font, like a standard letter, I cannot read that. Even with my magnifying glass, I still have a really hard time reading it. I'll probably make Get Ready With Me at some point just to show how I do my makeup as a legally blind person. I think that would be interesting because, well, I can, while I can see colors, I still have a hard time like navigating certain things. Anyways, I think I'll make that as I think I will make that at some point. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.